Ocala County Sheriff's Office and the governor of Puerto Rico have signed an agreement on a fugitive extradition program that returns criminals to their hometowns to be held accountable for their crimes. And so far, the program has been successful, with another arrest taking place just this week. Our Megan Mulatto reports.
We follow up on any leads they give us, and we extradite them. We find them if they're here, especially in the Central Florida area, and then we extradite them as fast as we can back to the island and make sure that justice is served.
Sheriff Lopez says the third person to be caught in Osceola County and sent back to Puerto Rico is Jason Daniel, who's facing vehicular manslaughter charges.
They let us know, hey, you might want to have one of our fugitives hiding in the Kissimmee area. So what we did is we started looking, we found him, and we booked him here in the county jail, and now Puerto Rico's ready to receive him.
He was taken to the airport where an extradition agent took him from there. So far, Lopez says the program has sent 3 fugitives back to Puerto Rico and 2 back to Central Florida. It's already proven to be mutually beneficial.
You have people here who buy guns and send them to the island, and you have people who do drugs and send them here. So what we do is once those criminals come here, we don't only arrest them, we do a lot of intel on their backgrounds, and we start finding out who they are, who they're associated with, and who they're related to, and it leads us to other criminal organizations. And that's the whole idea of this, since we have so many that go back and forth.
And meantime, FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried has agreed to extradition back to the United States to face charges related to the collapse of his crypto exchange. This comes after a chaotic day that had Bankman-Fried shuttled between a Bahamas court and jail. Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas last week, a month after his company collapsed. He's accused of misappropriating billions of dollars deposited in FTX, which collapsed last month. A federal indictment has charged him with fraud, money laundering, and a campaign finance offense. According to Bahamian officials, Bankman-Fried will fly to the United States on Wednesday. Well, meantime, several paintings, sculptures, and photographs, all by a Spanish artist, are allowing the Puerto Rican public to really immerse themselves in the universe in the unique personal creative process of this well-known artist. The exhibit is a project of that artist's foundation and will be open at the Puerto Rico Museum of Art in San Juan. Our Francis Felix takes us there.
The Joan Miró Foundation of Barcelona and Abertis Foundation, in coordination with the Puerto Rico Museum of Art, present the installation Universo Miró, an exclusive selection of works by the artist Joan Miró, who arrives in Puerto Rico for the first time and will remain on display until March 19, 2023. This initiative was part of Joan Miró Foundation vision to share the artist's work internationally and of Abertis Foundation to promote cultural exchange with the countries where it is present. The Universo Miró project arrives in Puerto Rico after being presented between 2019 and 2022 in Rome, Berlin, Dublin, Brussels, Paris, and New Delhi, as well as the Cultural Center of Spain in Mexico. Abertis, through its foundation and Metropistas, its subsidiary in Puerto Rico, has collaborated to bring this project to the country with the aim of promoting culture and to share this selection of works. The Universo Miró project will present an unique and personal creative process of the artist. This installation presents 4 paintings and a sculpture by Joan Miró and photographs by Joaquin Gomez, a friend of the artist and the first president of the Joan Miró Foundation. The exhibition will be open to the public at the Puerto Rico Museum of Art. From San Juan, Puerto Rico, Frances Felix reporting.
All right, thanks so much, Francis. Meantime, in the Bahamas, it was a celebration of Caribbean culture for Junkanoo. And once again, the group, the Music Makers, won this year's parade. And many thanks to Royal Caribbean. Our One Caribbean News' Deandra Hamilton reports.
The first Junkanoo group to win 3 consecutive Boxing Day parades in the Bahamas is back to claim another title thanks to a $100,000 boost by Royal Caribbean International Cruise Line. The Music Makers, which declared it will be Makers in the Morning, was founded in 1954 and has performed for several Royal Caribbean International events, including the naming ceremony of the world's newest and largest cruise ship, Wonder of the Seas, at Port Canaveral in Florida recently. In commenting on the sponsorship, Executive Chairman of the Music Makers, Gary Russell, said he was elated about the support and it gives a lifeline to the group.
Junction is very expensive. And when Mr. Bailey announced that Royal Caribbean is going to sponsor the music makers and Great Harbor Key, I went crazy. I jumped out of my chair. I screamed, I shouted, I spin around in my chair, I danced, because it gave a lifeline to the music makers. We were struggling trying to find a sponsor for a long time. And when Royal Caribbean came on board, it makes a big difference.
Also in a press release from Royal Caribbean, Russell said he was looking forward to participating in this year's event. To be going back to Bay Street to perform and compete after 3 long years is exciting. To get back in rhythm with all of the preparations of costumes, instruments, equipment, and most importantly, the members, some of whom are still recuperating from the pandemic, is an emotional boost that will be so important to those in the Junkanoo community who suffered financially or lost loved ones. We are doing this for them. In his comment on the sponsorship, Royal Caribbean International President and CEO Michael Bailey said he was rooting for the group in the parade, which is less than 2 weeks away.
Rooting for them, and we're hoping that music makers are going to clinch the crown, but if not this year, next year.
The COVID-19 pandemic shut down Junkanoo, and this year's Boxing Day and New Year's Day parades will be the first in 3 years.
And that was our Deandra Hamilton reporting there. Well, meantime, many Americans will be going over the river and through the woods during the end of the year holidays. Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, officials say they expect travel to be near pre-pandemic levels over the next few days. TSA Administrator David Pekoski says passenger volume hit a high not seen since 2019 over Thanksgiving, and that trend they think will likely be repeated. And to try and help with congestion at airports nationwide, travelers can text questions to Ask TSA, which is available 24/7.